It's my absolute pleasure to introduce Glori, Meldrum of the Little Warriors, Be Brave. Glori is a business leader, entrepreneur, author, and founder and chair of Little Warriors and the Be Brave Ranch, a first of its kind world-class treatment center for children across Canada who have been sexually abused. She has discovered resiliency, love, and hope by being a voice for vulnerable children and by advocating for social change in the business and non-for-profit communities. Glori leads her life from a place of love, not fear. She is also the mother of 4 beautiful children and the wife of the world's most patient man, so we hear. And if I can invite you to give Glori a very warm welcome, and she'll share her story about Little Warriors.
Hi, everybody. So good to see you. I've had so many good hugs today. Yeah, I'm so honored to be here with all of you guys. I'm a little bit short, so I'll just do it. Just so happy to be with you guys today. I'm actually just back off of a 1-month sabbatical. I took a month off to travel and regroup just after COVID and everything, and it was just such a gift to give to myself, to be away and just to be with me. So this is my first speaking thing since I've been back, and I'm so happy to be here. And the reason that I'm happy is that it's very interesting, and I'll share a story with you. Is when I was away, I was staying with a friend, and it was a very kind of wealthy area and people, and it was interesting. I was sharing in a sharing circle with people that I founded Little Warriors and that I was a survivor and all of that stuff. And it was interesting because I guess a couple of people complained that I was too vulnerable and too open, too open and too authentic, and that I made people feel uncomfortable, that I needed to kind of tone it back. And I thought to myself, well, I can't sit here for like a month and talk about pickleball, right? I mean, I just can't do it. And, so to come and be in a room with people that are actually here and that actually care, it's a big deal. If you think that, everybody cares and that it's really easy to be us and that the money comes in droves and it's easy and all of those things, it's absolutely false, right? And so sometimes it's just good to be in a room of love, that the average people, right? The normal people are the ones that are making the change. You guys didn't have to come here today, right? You could have done whatever you wanted, but you're here, right? And you guys are doing something about this. It's interesting. I'm sure a lot of you heard a lot about the little girl in Lethbridge that was 6 weeks old. Most of you have heard that story. First of all, my God, really? Do you know what I'm saying? And people will say to me, you must be shocked. And I'm like, nothing shocks me now. Nothing does. And on Facebook, you see the word warriors, and they're like, that person should be killed, and people should do this, and all of this. And I always say, what are you doing except complaining? Like, complaining doesn't get us anywhere. Like the social media warrior that's getting mad at everything, guess what? You don't do me any good, right? Show up to an event like this, come volunteer, come help. Words on social media don't make change, right? You actually have to get up out of your seat, and take action, So it was I've never been in that environment before that I actually got called out for being me, and my response was, if you know me, I was like, I really don't give a shit. If they don't like me, it doesn't matter. What I'm doing is what I care about, and my story is my story. Be proud of me for sharing that my grandfather raped me from 8 to 10. And that my family completely disowned me and I had nothing. That I almost be grateful that I didn't slit my wrist at 12 years old, right? because I went into my dad's bathroom with my dad's razor, and it was 50-50. And that's the day I have a tattoo warrior on here, and it's because that was the day that I became a fighter. That I said, screw the rest of the world, I'm gonna survive, get out of my way, right? And, in hindsight, was that a healthy attitude? Probably not, but I had to pick something to be able to stay alive. Like, it was fight or die. There really wasn't an in-between. And, so for me, it's just such a privilege to be with people that actually want to make change, that just don't talk about human trafficking. I'm sick of people talking, to be very candid. I'm sick of it. I am sick of, longer sentence, shoot that person, you know what? Save your voice. It doesn't do anything on social media. You actually have to get involved. And involved and caring isn't getting mad about a case. It's saying, you know what, I'm gonna volunteer, I'm gonna put on an event and bring 2 speakers in and talk about this. And that's exactly what you guys have done. And I want you to know how much that means to me, because there's a lot of people that literally you meet with and they're like, how quickly can I get this lady out of my office? Is $500 gonna do it? Is $1,000 gonna do it? And I look at them and I'm like, keep raising that number, because I'm gonna keep talking. In life, if we don't talk about things and shine the light on things, guess what? They don't change. We can go to the moon, but we can't solve homelessness, poverty, trauma, mental health, because we don't make it a priority. It's not because we're not smart enough. It's that you look at government and everything is, and even in business, is focused on money and the economy, but if you don't have people that are healthy, you don't have anything, right? You don't have anything. And the people that are broken in our society are broken because of what was done to them, mostly in their childhood, right? And so that's why it means so much to me to be with you, is you guys care about this. And I'll tell you that in the last couple of years, and we are the only treatment center, so I should tell you what Little Warriors does. So Little Warriors was I founded it 15 years ago. 15 years ago. And at first we started off with prevention. So we have a prevention program that is world class. And when I use that word, I use it because we're in medical journals based on the things that we've done. So I think we're in 9 around the world. So we started with prevention, we developed our own course with the U of A, we measure everything. So if someone takes our online or in-person prevention program, they save 10 kids from getting sexually abused by what they've learned in knowledge, and the program is free, we give it away. The second thing that we do, and this is almost 9 years ago, is my dream always was to build the first treatment center in the world for kids that have been sexually abused. Oh my God, has it been a journey? I always say it's like that picture of the boulder that you see, and you see that little person like trying to push the boulder up, and then they get squashed, and then they wake up the next day, and then they push the boulder back up, and that'd be me. It's at the very beginning, people were like, just because you're a business person and you've been sexually abused, like you're not a doctor, you don't know how to do this. Like the majority of people just they didn't stand with me. Lots stood against me, which was shocking, because all I was trying to do, I don't work there, I don't get paid. Like it's all volunteer for me, right? And it really is just about being there and caring and holding space. And so the journey has been wild. It really, really has. I'll give you an example with COVID is we were probably got a 2-year wait list, like a 1 to 2 year wait list, because we have 40 beds. Now we have no beds. Like we have no beds. Our numbers went up 1,400%. That's how much, like the government talks about COVID and people dying. I'm telling you right now, that people got sick and people died, but really what the consequences were of COVID were severe mental health issues, domestic violence up 1,400% year over date, and child sexual abuse rampant. And I will tell you that we have never ever seen the viciousness, and keep in mind, like, it's always been horrific. What we're seeing now is nothing we've ever seen before. And unbelievable amounts of human trafficking, right? Unbelievable. And we are the only center in the world that treats these kids. But it's interesting, you see the government, they're doing all this stuff around trafficking. Do you think that we're at that table? Do you think that we're a part of that? No. But we're the ones that are rehabilitating and healing these kids. And we know because we're measuring where they are when they came, when they were there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, all of these things. We know that our program heals these children. And so it's frustrating that it's so difficult, right? So imagine, the reason I took the month off is I have a $20 million raise right now. I'm raising $5 million to double the size to get 40 more beds and psychiatrists and psychologists and all that stuff. And I'm also building an adult center. It's called Our Lighthouse because I'm a maritimer. And so it's called Our Lighthouse. It's been designed and PCL is going to build it, and that'll cost about $15 million to do. But it's the first in the world. Like, it's kind of shocking. Like, when you tell people, they're like, it's the first, they're like, what? I'm like, no. All there was before was 1 hour counseling. What we do is we have 9 modalities of therapy because all of these kids don't learn and heal the same way. So we do talk therapy, play therapy, equine therapy, photography, yoga therapy, and music therapy, all of these things to reopen the hearts of these children that have been closed because, and I can attest to this, is that when you're little, you think everybody's safe, and mostly your family's safe. Well, I can tell you, statistically, the family's the least safe. And the people close to the family are the ones that get access and hurt the kids, right? And, so the severity is, we couldn't have even guessed it. Like, honestly, Glori, our CEO's here that runs Little Warriors, like, we could not believe what we were seeing. And we still can't to this day. But you can imagine, we committed to the adult center and then we're like, no, we've got to double the size because these kids, if they're on a wait list too long, suicide, they're getting worse, like, this is life and death. This is why it keeps me up every night. And, I wonder sometimes how loud I have to scream and yell and be like, pay attention. Like, our kids are losing their souls, right? People are taking those, right? And it's up to us as adults, as parents, as grandparents. If we don't stand up for them, who's gonna? Do you think it's gonna be somebody, celebrity, that is, gonna take it on? No, it's everyday people. You tell me any star that's been sexually abused, I've reached out to them. Okay, every one of them, because I'm a little bit of a pit bull when it comes to that. And how many of them do you think are like, yeah, we're gonna help you? Like, and I'm talking Lady Gaga, Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah, Pamela Anderson, Shania Twain, all these people who have a way bigger platform than me. I'm just one little regular person. And you know what? They'll talk about it, but they don't want to get involved, right? And so it's up to everyday people to make the changes. And one thing, people say to me, they're like, oh, you did this, and that's amazing. I'm like, I grew up in a trailer park. Like, I did not have a good upbringing. But I am so committed, and I have such a justice piece that this isn't right. What was done to me wasn't right. What was done to these kids isn't right. Because they grow up, they have drinking problems, cutting, suicide, prostitution, alcohol, homelessness. You want to solve all those problems? Get in and help rehabilitate those kids, right? Get in and rehabilitate the kids. That's the answer. But, it was funny, I was at a government thing one time and they're like, we need to figure all these intervention things out. And I said, listen, it's about early intervention. Early intervention is the key. And they're like, we can't get that done in 4 years. And I'm like, because you're only elected for 4 years? Are you kidding me? You could start it, right? And so it's not government that's going to make the change. It's not the thing. It's everyday people like us that actually care, that are listening to what's going on, that are brave enough not to shut off the channel. I know it's not easy to listen to the 6-week-old little girl story or all of, oh my goodness, how many coaches just got charged? 82? Yeah, like every day people are like, oh, you must be so. Like, man, I was done being shocked You know what I mean? Like 15 years ago. Like nothing. So like, and that's awful to say. Like it is. And every day people are reaching out, Glori, when's the adult center gonna be built? I'm struggling. Like we forget about those adults like me. And if you think I have a normal life, I don't. I have severe anxiety. My grandfather gave me cancer because he gave me HPV. I got diagnosed at 44 years old, and my odds were that I would die. Right? That I would not make it. It was 52-48. And on Wednesday, it's my 5-year, and hopefully I'm never back there again. But can you imagine that I'm sitting there and they're like, you know, it's HPV, and I'm kind of thinking, and I'm like, there's only one place I got it. There's only one place. And that piece of my life was taken. And so it's so important that adults get to get their lives back too, right? And so every single thing that we do, and you're gonna hear more about the adult center and the expansion of the Be Brave Ranch, because it's all gonna be out there. Like pretty soon you're gonna see it everywhere, because we gotta talk about this. These are little precious children, right? They're your grandkids, your niece, your nephews, your son, your daughter, the little kid that you coached in hockey, right? And life is short. And we're not here just to make money and to look after ourselves. And I know from you guys showing up today that you don't care about that. You actually care about making a difference. And isn't that why maybe we were given life? To be on this earth is to love one another like brothers and sisters and take care of each other and take care of our children. It's not complicated, right? You know that old statement, love conquers all? It does. Because when you're in a place of love, you do. When you're in a place of fear, you stay back, right? So when you open up your heart to helping and being a true, absolute service, guess what? That's what fills our souls, you know? That's what fills our souls. But it's not been an easy journey, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, nor would I trade my battle with cancer. And that says something, because I think that in the darkest of times is where we learn the lessons and the gifts from the struggle. It's not, pardon me, when everything is good, everything is good. We're not learning. It's in those tough times, right? It's in those tough times that you dig deep, find that resiliency, find that grit. And I always say there's two channels in our mind. One of them is that busy channel. You gotta do this, you gotta go get the errands, go get this, get the work done. There's this other channel that is the divine channel, whether it's the universe, creator, God to you. And when you turn that channel on, you'll be told exactly what to do. And trust me, sometimes, and to me it's God, I say, seriously, you want me to raise how much money? Like, I'm just like one little, like, broken little human, beautifully broken little human. But I listen and I do, right? And that's the thing is, people say, well, how do you get all this stuff done? And I'm like, you know, I just believe that there's a greater force out there that is helping bring everything together. I mean, if you look at it, as dysfunctional as my life has been and tough, no one would have bet $1 that I'd build a world-class treatment center, the only one in the world, right? But from my experiences, it gave me the strength to go and do that, right? So I love you. I consider you all brothers and sisters, and that's the truth. You'll know if I give you a hug that I mean it. And know that by showing up today, you have filled my cup, and Glori's, because you're here and you care. And sometimes I can't even tell you how much that means to us. Because there's so much rejection for raising money and getting support, that it's these environments that your heart's just happy, right? So, you know, thank you for having us today. Thank you for caring. Thank you for stepping up and not just writing something on social media, right? So love to each and every one of you. If you want to learn more about Little Warriors, let us know. We've got a booth at the back and my book's there, and all the money goes to Little Warriors. And it's a very vulnerable book, very truthful. Those that know me know that I wasn't born with a filter. I call it how it is, and especially when things are wrong. I'm going to stand every single time, just like you, right? So thank you for having me today. Thank you for having Little Warriors be part of this. And I wish you guys nothing but just love and peace and joy and all of the goodness that the world has. Much love.